What up, movie bitches? I'm back! Welcome to the first official video and fresh from the theater review of 2020. Today I just saw Bad Boys for Life, the third film in the Bad Boys movie series starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and it's crazy to think that the first Bad Boys movie came out the year I was born, 1995. So, yeah, this franchise is going on 25 years, and my thoughts on the first two Bad Boys are, I enjoyed them. They're a lot of fun. I don't think they're great films, but they were a lot of fun, very kick-ass, good action. The comedy was a little hit and miss in some areas, but there were some real fucking funny moments, and it's clear it was Will Smith and Martin Lawrence making their marks on cinema. And the second Bad Boys was very enjoyable. I actually liked it a bit more than the first one. The first film, in my opinion, it was cool. It had a lot of good stuff. But the action was a little, the editing was a little too fast-paced, hard to make out what was going on. The villain wasn't the most memorable, but their chemistry between Will and Martin as Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett was very good. Second one, I remember someone was saying a lot of fun parts, but they didn't think it needed to go on like 2.5 hours, and yeah, it did drag on a bit, but it definitely felt more Michael Bay. Like, Michael Bay wasn't entirely satisfied with the first one, and with the second one you could see it was more full-on Bay. And one of my biggest pet peeves with the Bad Boys franchise, even though I do enjoy them, was I found Will Smith as Michael Lowry to be very awesome, very charismatic, as Will Smith naturally is. But I always found Martin Lawrence as Marcus Burnett to be pretty fucking annoying, and a running gag throughout the first two films was Mike losing his shit with Marcus. And I'm like, who wouldn't with this annoying bitch? Because that's really what he was, and sometimes Marcus, especially in the second one, could get really fucking unlikable. So with the third one, I was not knowing what to expect, because they've been doing a lot of these sequels slash reboots, follow-ups. This is definitely a sequel, not a reboot. They followed them up many years later, and there had been a gap of 8 years between the first and second Bad Boys. For this one, it had been a gap of 17 years. And good sequels can come many years later. Blade Runner 2049 is an amazing example. But I wasn't sure what to expect, and the trailers may look like could be fun, but nothing special. And I came out of Bad Boys for Life, and this was an incredible movie. It's not like a Oscar movie, but it was an amazing mix of action and comedy and even drama. This is definitely my favorite of the Bad Boys movies that have come out so far. I think that I remember they're doing like a spin-off. There's a spin-off in the works. They're doing a all female-led spin-off sequel, I think, called Bad Girls, that I think will star Gabrielle Union from the second film. I don't know if they're going to do another straight-up sequel, but the way this film kind of ended, it hints that there's a possibility for another. Hopefully before Will and Martin are in their 70s. But Bad Boys for Life, I went to this with an open mind, hoping to just have a fun ride, and I got that, and I got so much fucking more than I was expecting. There were some legitimately intense, emotional scenes in this film, and I said Marcus, I found to be a bit unlikable in Bad Boys 2, but here he is a million times more likable and straight up funny, as opposed to rambling and bitching about how things are affecting him emotionally. But he was a lot more relatable here. I think it's like the Deadwood movie. It's a case of the characters are older and they still are the same characters, but they're a little more mellow, a little more wise in their advancing years. And Will Smith is still straight up badass. Martin Lawrence, he's definitely gotten older, and the opening scene of this film is Will and Martin in a big intense chase. What are they on a chase towards? The birth of Marcus's grandkid. And I had a feeling this was gonna happen, and it was a good scene. It was funny, but legitimately touching. He holds his grandbaby, his grandson, and he finds out that they named him Marcus after him. And they say it was, and this was a fun surprise because everybody was speculating that this character might appear. Reggie, the boyfriend, the guy who's picking up Marcus's daughter for a date in the second film, who Marcus and Mike just scared the shit out of, he's back! And yeah, he looks like he's in the army now. He's wearing army clothes, and he's still a nervous wreck around Marcus and Mike. But it looks like they've warmed up to him, and hey, he's got a grandkid from this guy now, so he's part of the family. But yeah, that was a fun surprise. Like, I wasn't sure they were gonna do it, but he's back, and it's kind of cool they followed up on that, and it's another example of showing that the character had grown since the last film. And getting a little behind the scenes, Michael Bay is not back as the director of the Bad Boys franchise. I know a lot of people are mixed on him. I like a lot of the Michael Bay movies I've seen. I've never seen a Transformers movie in its entirety, because even from the previews they always looked fucking retarded. So maybe that's why I don't maybe hate him as much as some moviegoers do. But Bad Boys was definitely some of Michael Bay's better work. And the directors they got to take over, like, there's 2 directors now, and they're not credited by their full names in the opening credits. They're credited as Adil and Bilal, Billall. Their full names, according to what I looked up, are Adil El Arbi and Baal Falah. They appear to be up-and-coming new directors. They've made a few films that don't have full pages on them, so I couldn't find out a lot, and they appear to have directed an episode or 2 of the show Snowfall. I'm not familiar with their other work, but they did a great job. Like, this movie feels like the original too. It doesn't feel like a completely different director with a different vision took over. This feels like it was put in the hands of some people who legitimately love the first 2 Bad Boys and knew what to do, and also, even if they loved the first 2, knew what to not bring back. Because, I mean, they bring back a lot of stuff that worked, but they exclude some stuff that did get a little annoying, like the rambling, the whining, complaining. This film was about 2 hours, 4 minutes. It didn't drag on too long. Everything felt perfect. And even though Michael Bay didn't come back to direct, I saw a behind the scenes video that showed that he was on the set. Turns out it was for a cameo. After Marcus's grandkid is born, we see Reggie and his daughter, I can't remember her name, get married. And it's a touching scene, and we see that the wedding MC is Michael Bay in a nice little cameo. I thought that was a great cameo. Mike takes the mic and just talks about how he's surprised, probably as much as we are, that his daughter and Reggie are still together, saying, "We did everything to scare him away." Yeah, no shit. Chitty chitty bang bang, nigger, and you ever made love to a man? No? You want to? Yeah, that was a very funny but kind of messed up scene. But yeah, he's still there, they're still with him, and it was just, the family parts were really great, and Teresa Randall is back as Teresa Burnett. And she doesn't have a ton to do here, but she didn't really in the first two films. But it's nice that they got her back, just to show that it's not a case of where only the main characters are returning. They got a few of the supporting players to come back, and Joe Pantoliano is back as well as Captain Howard, and it was real fucking awesome to see Joe Pantoliano back in a big on-the-screen movie. He's still the captain, but he still gets pissed and yells, but he also seems like I said, a little more mellow than he was many years ago. And it seems like he's really grown attached to Mike and Marcus. He even says that Mike is like a son to him at one point, and I loved hearing that. And the connection that everybody has, you feel it. And the comedy is real good. There's a lot of good scenes, like they poke fun at how they're older, but Will is like, he's like, I still got it. Marcus is trying to accept his age. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, they really wanted to make this movie together, and you can see why. You can tell they're having fun. They're really enjoying being together. They still work well off each other. And Martin Lawrence, I think this is some of the best acting I've ever seen him give in a movie. Because he has some legitimately heart-wrenching moments here, and I'll get into in a little bit, but there was surprisingly more drama in this film than I would have expected. The plot concerns the wife of a deceased cartel leader breaking out of prison, reuniting with her son, and she tells her son to hunt down everybody who was responsible for putting her away, as well as her husband, his father's death. And one of the people on this hit list is Mike Lowry. So, very early in the film, we see Mike and Marcus, after celebrating the birth of Marcus's grandson. Mike gets shot by a guy on a motorcycle, revealed to be this cartel son, Armando, played by, Jacob Scipio. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. But, yeah, he guns him down, and, you know, they're not going to kill him off that early, but it was really brutal. Like, there was a lot of blood. You really felt the pain. Like, it really seemed like Mike was really fucking damaged here. And we see Marcus praying for him, just begging God to save his partner. And you feel the love. When Mike gets better, recuperated, he wants to hunt down the guy who shot him, and obviously the captain he's not going to allow him to investigate his own shooting. And then Mike finds out that Marcus, without telling him, finally retired, which he'd been bitching about in the last film as well. Well, I think he bitched about transferring, but yeah, he officially retired. And the film, you could kind of predict where some things were going, but it did stuff that you didn't expect as well, such as Mike saying, "Bad boys, one more time," and it's a big dramatic scene, silence, big pause. I think Marcus is gonna agree, and then he says, "No." And you feel the pain of it. and Will cries some manly tears. There's a lot of man tears in this film. All handled extremely well. Never gets to Tobey Maguire. And Mike convinces the captain to let him help out in the investigation. The captain stretches, like, tells him what exactly he's supposed to do. He tells him, you'll be a advisor to a squad known as, like, I think the Ammo Squad, that it's more forensics and studying, the bullets, which is led by this lieutenant named Rita, played by Paola Nunez. And this is a new character who we never seen before, but it's been 17 years since the second film, so we can buy that this character's known them a while. And Mike and Marcus talk about how Mike has never really settled down. Guess the thing with Marcus's sister didn't work out, and who knows what the fuck happened to Tia Leone from the first Bad Boys. And Paola Nunez and Will Smith, they have incredible chemistry here. Very hot, very they work well off each other, and everyone around them can tell they had a thing, and there's still a little something there. And they don't exactly go the they hook up route, but you can tell it's gonna happen. Maybe, and some stuff really happened off screen, and they work great together. And she was a great character. The Rita character, she was a great new addition to the Bad Boys franchise. Unlike Gabrielle Union, who is a great actress, but I didn't buy her exactly when she was trying to be a badass with a gun. Rita, I fully buy. She is a great badass character, and she works well with Will, with Martin, and there's like a team, this ammo team, of younger cops, and I was a little nervous about this because I saw this in the trailers. I feel like they're doing that thing where you bring back old-time action heroes, you give them a sequel many years later, and then you give them a whole bunch of younger characters. And I was afraid they were going to go the Expendables 3 route with a bunch of annoying little shits who get too much screen time, but every one of the Ammo Squad was pretty good. Even the characters who had a few annoying moments, they got a lot of decent development, and they all worked off each other well. They became pretty likable. They were played by Vanessa Hudgens, Alexander Ludwig, and Charles Melton. I thought they all did a great job. Charles Melton has a good, slightly antagonistic, but becomes friendly antagonistic relationship with Will. Vanessa Hudgens, she was another pretty badass chick, very hot. We get this scene where she goes undercover and as a waitress in bra and panties in like a neon nightclub, and Will has a funny moment where he goes, "The Ammo Squad is High School Musical cops." Yeah, a little on the nose, fourth wall there, but it was funny. And Alexander Ludwig, he is just a ripped, sexy beast, and who also happens to be a tech nerd. And they give him a few little annoying moments, talk about how he needs therapy and shit, but it's still, in the end, it all worked out. They all were great characters, and everybody was just fucking dynamite. Everybody was felt true to the franchise. Everybody worked off each other well. The action was incredible. It felt like Michael Bay, but Michael Bay, like, not full over the top Bay. They made sure the action didn't go by too fast. They made sure the shots actually lasted longer than 3 seconds. And we had this great moment where Will and Martin are in a motorcycle with passenger car, and the passenger car, it's from the bad guys, so there's guns in the passenger car, including a big ass military like machine gun, and Marcus has to just start firing it, holding both hands from the passenger car. And the chase scenes were my favorite parts of Bad Boys 2, and these were equally on point, extremely intense, high adrenaline rush, and the villains in this film were excellent. And the villain in the first Bad Boys, I don't remember that fucker's name, and he just looked like a schlubby doofus. The villain in the second film wasn't the most intimidating, but he at least had a personality. The villains here, the cartel widow, Isabel Ortiz, played by Kate Del Castillo. She was very, I guess, femme fatale, very mysterious. She carried a genuine threat to her, and her opening scene is her just murdering the shit out of a prison guard. And her son, Armando, bit of a mama's boy, but a mama's boy who kills. You can tell he's loyal to her, and the big motivation for what they're doing is to avenge her husband, his father. And she's insistent that Mike Lowry be the last one to die. And before I get into the spoilers, because I can't talk further without getting into the spoilers, I'll just say, if you want a sequel to Bad Boys, like a worthy follow-up, you'll get that here. There's one or two things that still kind of bugged me, but non-spoiler rating, I give this an 8 out of 10 on the awesome action movie scale. It is definitely worth seeing. It brings back the characters you love. It's extremely well done. It's all real, and yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. So if you don't want to have any spoilers that really spoiled the twists that come in the last act, then stop here and go check it out. Okay, time to get into the spoilers and the one or two things that I didn't like about this movie. I mean, I really did like this film, but these two parts really rubbed me the wrong way. Marcus is mostly retired for most of the film. We get a lot of fun stuff where he's kind of pushed back to help Mike, including dropping off the baby with his wife. She's saying she's going to kill him. Then they go to meet this witness who is thrown off a building and smashes Marcus's wife's car. And then Mike has his first face-off with Armando. And sometime later, he's with Captain Howard, who is watching his daughter, granddaughter. It's unclear, but apparently the captain has a family now. And he's watching her play basketball, and he gives Mike this philosophical speech that could have gone a stupid route, but worked out reasonably well. It's clear he's like a surrogate father to Mike. And just as they're leaving, as soon as they start to leave, I kind of realized what was going to happen. I was sadly proven right. Captain Howard is killed. Now, I know he was an angry boss for the first two films. A bit of a cliche, but Joe Pantoliano, he's a great actor. And this character you really grew to like him, and I get it. It gives Mike an extra push to really go after the cartel people, and it also pushes Marcus to come back out of retirement to help Mike take them down. I get that, but damn, it really hurt to see Captain Howard die. I like the character. That was one thing. Maybe he could have been severely injured. I just don't know. I didn't want him to die. And they team up with the Ammo Squad. Everybody's working together, and when they have the big chase scene that I talked about before with the motorcycle machine gun, Armando has Mike hanging from a helicopter, and he says a special message from his mother to Mike, and Mike, hearing it, suddenly figures something out. And this was actually a well done twist. There was no hint of it in the first two films, but the way they explain it, it didn't have to be. This felt believable. Mike, before he teamed up with Marcus, was undercover, and he was a driver for Isabel in the cartel. They had a affair, and Mike says he actually fell in love with her, and a lot of what he does today, the way he goes about things, came from his time with her, his experience with her, and that the reason she's specifically going after him, wanting him to suffer the most, is she sees him busting her husband, everybody, as the ultimate betrayal. And Mike, hearing the kid, Armando, say this special message to him, makes him realize, and looking really close at him, figuring a few things out, Armando is Mike's son. And I know with a lot of people this could be seen as cliche or dumb, but they really worked it well here. You really feel the pain and just guilt that comes to Mike, and deciding to fuck it all, he heads to Mexico to take them out, and Mike shockingly got dark in the end. He talked about how, like, he plans to murder his own son. Yeah, really fucking dark. And Marcus refuses to let him go alone, and says they say their classic phrase, "Bad boys for life." We ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. And while on the plane, he rephrased it to be, "We fly together, we die together." Which, yeah, in this day and age, probably not the best thing to say on an airplane with people around you. And Isabel, by the way, she believes in, like, voodoo or witchcraft. Will says she is a witch. There's no magic in this film. That would have been really stupid. But, yeah, she's a witch, believes in that shit, prays, and Marcus is like, "You fucked a witch? You fucked a witch with no condom?" Yeah, just keep saying the most inappropriate things, but unlike in the first two films, it fits here. It doesn't feel like it's killing the moment. It fits. And they arrive, and Rita shows up with the Ammo Squad. She and Will, you can tell, she really cares about him, and they definitely are gonna hook up in the future. Definitely gonna come together. And Will goes in to an old building that apparently he used to meet Isabel at. They have this very tense reunion that is extremely well shot and written. Feel the anger, the sadness, the regret. just an old lover who's gone bad, and soon enough, shit hits the fan. Armando comes in, Marcus, the ammo squad, Rita. This big finale is just it's Bruno Mattei levels of insanity. Just fire everywhere, shooting, and the heroes. This is another good example. These heroes are not indestructible. They get shot, stabbed, slashed, and Mike tells Armando who he is, that he's his father. Apparently, he almost kills him, but looking at him real closely in the moment, he decides not to, and another good dramatic moment. Isabel tells him to kill Mike. Armando suddenly conflicted because he's been raised his whole life to kill and be, evil, and to go after Mike, and finds out his whole life has kind of been a lie. And this, motivates him to not fight anymore. And Isabel, enraged, goes to shoot Mike, but in the process shoots her son. And, well, she's, I have a little trouble remembering, but yeah, I can tell this is like her most human moment, being horrified by what she's done, and then just as she's about to kill Mike, who she calls the traitor, Rita comes in and blows her to hell, and we see her fall into the fiery pit. Symbolic. They all get out just in time, and some of the other ammo squad have been shot, bleeding, and Mike says to Armando, not sure what's going to happen next, because he did murder people, but he says he's here for them. And yeah, this is the second thing I kind of take issue with Bad Boys for Life. Armando, the twist of him being Will's son and the fact that he was raised, manipulated to believe he was something he was not all of his life, makes him a complex character, but he fucking murdered innocent people, including Captain Howard. So, I take a lot of issue with this little punk mama's boy, and at the end, we get a mid-credits scene where it's implied that Mike somehow will be able to get him out of prison. It's unclear, but if I had to guess, he's probably going to have him, because he was arrested, he might have him be... This is all just speculation, because they leave it open-ended, possibly for another sequel, and what I'm speculating is maybe Mike is going to have Armando go undercover and help them bust more of the cartel, because it's unclear how many people know about their relationship, how they're related. So it seems like he could get out of prison, which... We do get a nice, touching final scene where Mike is giving Marcus a vacation, and Marcus is back on the force, but giving him a stress-free vacation, and Mike says he and the squad will look after the grandson, which they're watching because Reggie and Marcus's daughter are still on their honeymoon. But then the ammo squad's like, we gotta do work. So they leave, and it's Mike. Apparently Mike's gotta be solo with the baby. And Rita points out, you look good with a baby. And I'm like, oh yeah? Yeah, that's another possibility for the future. And before Marcus leaves, he and Mike try to sing, bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when they come for you? And just like the first two films, they keep mumbling the lyrics, and the final shot of this film looks like an outtake or a blooper, which was a weird note to go out on, but for the most part, Bad Boys for Life was a solid action drama comedy, a great sequel. In fact, this was better than the first two Bad Boys, in my opinion. No disrespect of sorts to Michael Bay, but the people in charge of this movie, they knew what they were doing. They knew how to follow up the first two and not do what people see as the faults of the first two. And this was a great first film to review for the year. I loved this movie. I had a great time. Will Smith still got it, and Martin Lawrence. I consider this his comeback of sorts. Not sure if he'll take advantage of it, but it was great to see him in a role that's different than what he's usually done before. Even though it's a character he's played in the past, it was very different than what he usually does. And even though it's just a cameo, it's interesting to see Michael Bay coming back together a little with Jerry Bruckheimer. And the opening, it says a Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer production. For those who don't know, Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson produced the first Bad Boys. And they had that same credit on the second film, even though Don Simpson's been dead for over 20 years. I don't know, that's just it's a nice tribute, and I, on the 5-star scale, give it a 4.5. Bad Boys for life, and if they do another, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't go the Die Hard route. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a good start to the new year. Hope you enjoyed this vlog review, and thanks for watching. If you like what you see, check out more of my videos, and if you like those, maybe subscribe. I will see you all again soon.